I was just getting ready to watch the Chicago-St. Louis game. Starts in about 15 minutes time. I was just, having a little bit of food, which is now getting cold, because I have to talk to the fine people on the internet about what the Canucks just did. Welcome back. There are days where I think to myself, Shannon, you can root for somebody else. you can find another team. Minnesota's getting one hell of a player. That's all I have to say. I'm wearing a Minnesota jersey. I know there's 4 pieces going to the Canucks in this trade, but come on. Quinn Hughes, who still has a year and a half left on his deal, so it's not a pure rental for Minnesota. Plenty of time for the Wild, and USA GM Bill Guerin, who's going to be the GM for him at the Olympics. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't it a wonderful story? It's a wonderful story. It's a great story. It's fantastic. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. Quinn Hughes is gone out of Vancouver. The best defenseman the Canucks have ever had, and it is not close. And I do not mean that as an insult to guys like Jovanovski or Lume or Lidster or any of the other defensemen who've come through. Edler being a recent one as well was pretty darn good. Oland would get brought up. You go back far enough, guys like Sneps would get brought up. But come on. Quinn Hughes was easily the best defenseman the Canucks have ever had. And I was so excited about this young core, which included guys like Horvat, Besser, etc. And I'm surprised Besser's not included. I'm saying this because it's felt like Brock Besser going to the Minnesota Wild is the way things were going to go for years. And then it didn't happen. He re-signs in Vancouver. I do wonder if Besser regrets that decision. I do. I wonder if Besser regrets that decision. I wonder if Demko regrets that decision. And I say this only because now they're seeing Quinn Hughes leave, the captain, the leader, who has been clearly very miserable. I wish him the best of luck in Minnesota. I really do. He's had 26 games played, 2 goals, 21 assists, 23 points. He's 26 years of age. I expect those point totals to go through the roof. I expect Minnesota to play really well with Quinn Hughes once he gets used to the team. Like, for Minnesota fans who haven't had an opportunity to see Quinn Hughes every game, like I have, you're in for a treat. He is easily worth the pieces that have been traded. So who is traded? Well, 24-year-old center Marco Rossi, who the Canucks have coveted for ages. But here's the trick. They coveted Dakota Joshua, too. They worked so hard to get him. And then when things weren't working out all that well, they ship him out. So this is one of those things where when the question gets asked of, well, you want the Canucks to do a rebuild, I don't know that I trust Alvin and Rutherford to do it. Rossi's played 17 games this season, 4 goals, 9 assists, 13 points for Marco Rossi. He has had trouble staying in the lineup, which is the issue that the Canucks have had with their other number 2 center, Hedl, who's currently on the injured list. Then they get left winger Liam Ohgren, who was a number 19 pick in 2022. He's 21 years of age. He could end up being a good top 6 forward, sure. This year with Minnesota, 18 games, no points. So Liam Ohgren's been having a bit of a struggle. They also get Zeev Buium. So they do get a defenseman back. But here's the thing. Buium obviously isn't going to be Quinn Hughes. Buium's going to be a very serviceable, very good top 4 defenseman. Maybe a top 2, right? But he's 20 years of age. He was a number 12 pick in 2024. 31 games played, 3 goals, 11 assists, 14 points. They also get a 2026 first-round pick from a team that could be picking as late as 32nd with the addition of Quinn Hughes. Like, this just loads up the Central even more. So Dallas and Colorado should be taking notice because Minnesota's clearly serious about climbing, or at least not being a pushover for those top teams. So this is a great day for Minnesota. Now, I'm going to say this too. The league has yet to take the trade call. The trade call has yet to happen. But everybody I follow on Twitter is reporting this trade. And when I first saw it, my initial reaction was, that's it? That's it. For a guy who has been the face of the franchise, for a guy who has been easily the best defenseman I think the Canucks have ever had. So they get Rossi, who is basically a second-line center, right? Ohgren, who is a young prospect, might end up being a top 6 forward. And Buium, who's a very good defenseman. I'm not saying Buium's not a good defenseman. But now he has to get saddled with, you're the guy that replaced Quinn Hughes. That's not fair. That's not fair. So, I feel like this is a theme on this channel, that the Canucks make a trade, and I stand here and I tell people on the internet, I don't know what they're doing. And to me, this says two things. One, well, they get their second line center. They get another depth winger who could play top 6 minutes. Let's be honest, with how many injuries the Canucks have right now, Ohgren could just walk into a top 6 role right now. And Buium's going to get a chance to play a lot of minutes. The Canucks, I think they still want to salvage this season, which makes me kind of angry. It does. And I know that may sound strange to people, but I feel like this is the year to tank. This is the year to embrace the tank and to go, you know what? This isn't our year. Because if they add players and they end up finishing just outside the playoffs and drafting 14th overall, this guy's not going to be happy. So, yeah, Quinn Hughes is off to Minnesota. And I'm off my rocker. As now I've got to watch 2 hockey games tonight. And then I get to review them later tonight and act like, yeah, everything's fine. Quinn Hughes is gone, but it's fine. It's fine. This is why Vancouver can't have nice things. This is it. If you look at teams that win Stanley Cups, you look at teams that build dynasties, what is one thing that they all seem to have in common? They have players who spend 15, 20 years with the organization. They retire with the organization. They're the face of the team. The only ones that I can recall for Vancouver are the Sedins. And the Sedins have been great in the community. They're great guys. They may very well be the next GMs in some manner for the team. I'm not happy. I can't pretend to be happy. I cannot, in this moment, pretend to be impartial. I cannot, for this moment, take my Canucks hat off, even though I'm wearing a Minnesota Wild hat, because they get the best player in this trade. It is not close. And I am just gutted at this. Because, yes, I understand that Quinn Hughes was miserable and something needed to happen. I get that. But this now? So the Christmas present for Quinn Hughes is he's gone. The Christmas present is he's out of this. I'm trying to find a way not to swear as I say this. And I was watching some news stuff, and I was watching that a reporter out in minus 40 weather in Regina, and I was commentating myself over pretending I was the reporter and swearing at the person in the studio because I was stuck out in the snow. I was having a good day. I was having not too bad of a day. We went to the mall. I finished all my Christmas shopping. I'm all excited. I'm even wearing Christmas colors. And then this. So for Oiler fans that are like, I don't know what Stan Bowman's doing. He didn't do this. Oh, sure. You can argue that moving out Skinner and bringing in Jari isn't necessarily an upgrade. And I would agree. Maybe it's not. But, I mean, they're rolling the dice. I get it. I don't get this. I don't get this. I really don't get this. And I wonder who's next. Which player in that locker room in Vancouver right now says, boy, Quinn's gone, JT's gone, Bo's gone. This team is just, it's not the same. I don't know if I want to be here anymore. I wonder how many are thinking it right now. Because I feel like there's got to be at least some. And, it's just really, really disheartening to see that return. I'm not trying to slag these guys, but it's like Quinn Hughes is one of the best defensemen in the National Hockey League. Can you imagine if the Avs, just for a moment, traded Cale Makar and that was the return? Or if Columbus traded Zach Werenski, right? So I don't think I'm overreacting to this. I feel like it just doesn't work. So I will be rooting for the Minnesota Wild going forward. I really hope Minnesota kills it. I do, and I say that as a Dallas fan. I hope Minnesota goes on a big winning streak. I hope Quinn Hughes gets 10 goals in his first 10 games with Minnesota. I hope Quinn Hughes plays the best hockey he has ever played and wins the Norris Trophy. So we can come back to this in June and discuss. Because Quinn Hughes, when he is mentally in the game and when he is dialed in and he's got his confidence and he's happy, he is arguably one of the top 2 defensemen in the league, right there with Cale Makar. And he's looked defeated lately. And his numbers have suffered, and maybe that's why the return wasn't as high. I don't think so, though. I don't. He's 26 years of age. He's in his prime. And the Canucks just shifted him for 24, 21, and 20-year-old. And that's what they're going to say. The Canucks are going to say, hey, we got younger. We were looking for younger pieces. The same crap Jim Benning used to say is now being said by the Canucks again. And the same thing Jim Benning used to do is being done again. All we're missing is the Canucks trading a bad contract for a bad contract. They did bring in Evander Kane's contract, which did do a favor for the Edmonton Oilers. So that was nice. I would still prefer to have Dakota Joshua personally, but hey, you know, stuff happens. I'm trying really hard not to swear. I'm trying really hard. I know there's people watching this going, it's okay, hockey guy, you can, I understand. And I know there's fans who do, but there's a game starting in a few minutes here, and I'm just going to try to zone out and watch that and ignore how choked I am in this moment as a Canuck fan. How choked I am to see this. Quinn, you're one of the best in the game. I hope you absolutely destroy the league going forward, and you are the best defenseman in the league, and nobody can argue that, because I want him to take that Norris Trophy and bring it to the next Vancouver Canucks game next season and just skate around with it on the ice. Just skate around and go, look what I won when I left. Look how much happier I got. And I don't know, maybe tell the guys on the bench. At this point, if everybody on the Canucks goes, you know what, we all want out, I wouldn't blame them. It's an absolute tire fire right now in Vancouver. And management makes it sound like, well, we're looking for a little bit of help down the middle. We want to be a little harder to play against. And it's not that simple. This is a team with fundamental flaws and has had fundamental flaws for years. But then they won the division in 2023, 2024. They thought they were better than they were. Heck, Canuck fans thought they were better than they were. And here we are. They weren't better. They're not better. And right now they're 32nd in the league. But a trade has been made. All right. I think I've said enough. All right, thank you guys so much for your attention, for your time. Oh, I don't even have the top corner of the board in the shot. Look at that. That's how upset I am. Cats aren't upset, though. Like Azrael. Azrael's fine. She's having a nice nap. Maple's having a nice nap up there. So I'm not that loud. Or they're just used to it. Probably just used to it. Okay, I'm going to go watch a couple of hockey games and try to relax. This is one of those times where I think, drinking's an option. I don't drink. It's an option. Okay, Quinn Hughes is gone. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. Hit like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And this might be the lowest point I've had as a Canuck fan in about 25 years. It's a low point. So I will talk to you again soon.